The group Our Schools Now says it's seen no real action from lawmakers, so they'll take their plan for more money for education directly to voters. Political specialist Ladd Egan is live at the Capitol with new details on the plan, and they have some new high-profile support, Ladd.
Yeah, Deanie, today I sat down with Gail Miller. She believes that Utah residents would pay a higher income tax if that money went directly to education. For her, she says the problems with Utah's education system have hit close to home.
I homeschooled a grandson because I didn't want to send him to public school. I knew he'd get lost.
Utah businesswoman Gail Miller says she's experienced firsthand what happens to families when too few dollars are spent on education.
Because the attention would not be there for him. He was ADD, the class sizes were way too big, and I knew that he wouldn't get what he needed.
Miller says the changes to education funding need to be significant, especially with Utah's growing population.
We just want to look at it as getting the job done. We have to get something done to make our schools better.
We are full steam ahead with the ballot initiative, and we will be on the ballot in November of 2018.
That's where Our Schools Now enters, asking voters to increase the state income tax by 7/8% to go directly to education. The group is open to lawmakers coming up with a legislative solution, but says lawmakers aren't acting.
What we're focused on is education funding, and what they're doing right now is not going to solve the problem with education funding.
And education funding is not the issue.
The Libertas Institute is against raising the income tax for education, saying more money won't solve the problems.
When you look at funding, there is very little correlation between the amount that you spend on public education and outcomes. Very little.
Also today, Our Schools Now released new details about how this additional funding for education would be spent. They've crunched the numbers, and they say that this tax increase would generate $750 million new dollars for education. That would roughly be an additional $1,000 per student. If a school has 1,000 students, this could mean an extra $1 million per year. And take a look at this. A poll by the Libertas Institute showed 50% of likely voters support raising the income tax rate to 5.875% for education. But when they were told that would mean the average Utah family would pay about $900 more in taxes every year, 69% said they were less likely to support it. Deanie, Our Schools Now says they don't agree with that $900 more per year, and they say that their own polling shows that there is a lot of support for this.
Ladd, going back to the $1,000 per student, this could help schools in a variety of ways, teachers, class size, programs, things like that.
Yeah, that is true, Deanie. Some of the money, the school districts could decide how it could be spent, and they could use that to give teachers a pay increase, about a 5% pay increase. They could also extend the contract for teachers. All that could help with teacher retention, which you and I know is a big problem here in Utah.
Yeah, much more to come on this one. Ladd, thanks.